Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We've got lots of breaking news to tell you today. Number one, there's over 200 candidates in the by-election of Battle River Crowford, which Polyev is running in. And a main story that the Queen Sydney a ship has been set on fire. I think it was just naturally something happened. It might have been a problem or something, but it got set on fire, and this will now cost taxpayers $20 million because the Canadian government can't give ship recycling funds to BC.
The fire exploded to life in the early morning hours Saturday. The Queen of Sydney burned through the weekend, still smoldering into Sunday afternoon. The fire forced hundreds of people to shelter in place. The derelict vessel, potentially an environmental disaster.
We were simply waiting for the inevitable to occur, and that's exactly what this feels like.
The former BC Ferry was retired from service in 2000 and has been moored here on the Fraser River in Mission since it was sold in 2002 to Gerald Tapp.
They're not asking you to remove it.
No. Seen here in an interview from 2012. Under federal legislation, vessel owners are liable for the cost of cleanup.
The question is, it's the owner's responsibility this polluter pays, but if the owner isn't able to deal with this, then it's up to the government of Canada.
The federal government, in a statement, says the ship was inspected in 2023 and found no significant pollutants on board. An on-water inspection is being conducted to look at public safety and the potential for environmental damage. According to the Dead Boat Society, which helps deal with derelict and abandoned vessels, the cleanup for a ship this size could be in the $15 to $20 million range.
It looks like it's still a floater. If it's not leaking, then then it'll probably sit there for a long time.
One of the issues, according to marine experts, is the lack of a proper shipbreaking facility on the West Coast. Without a dedicated dry dock, it is often easier for owners to abandon vessels than it is to scrap them. Mission's mayor plans to introduce an emergency motion at council Monday, trying to put pressure on senior levels of government to take action.
As you heard, it will cost taxpayers in BC $20 million to clean up. That should have gone to a recycling firm. There is a boat recycling firm in BC, but it doesn't have much money, it doesn't have the resources. The closest one is all the way in, guess where? Newfoundland and Labrador. It's all the way on the other side of Canada. And now this, instead, and the Liberal Party of Canada, the government, is refusing to give money to open these stuff up. They've got so much money from all these taxes they've been getting. They don't have money to open up recycle places or to scan shipping containers. They don't, but they have enough money to jet about to talk about climate change. I mean, this will cost BC taxpayers $15 to $20 million. And there's a ship called the Queen Victoria, I believe. No, Queen Burnaby, that's it. That's not going to go to the boat recycling place in British Columbia, which is 18 miles away, where it should. Where will it go? All the way to Newfoundland and Labrador, all down from America, through the Gulf of America, all the way up to Newfoundland and Labrador. That will cost money. That will pollute the earth a bit more. That will cost lots of money. Instead of the boat recycling place in British Columbia opening up, creating jobs, the government hates that place and they're willing to shut down hundreds of jobs and move the ship all the way to Newfoundland and Labrador, costing money, polluting the earth, having to move the ship to recycle it. It's common sense to do it in British Columbia. The correction is actually Nova Scotia, where the boat's going. The boat's going all the way from British Columbia to Nova Scotia, when there's literally a place in BC that can recycle it to make jobs. If the government allows it, that place can have jobs and lots of funding and stuff, but no, the government hates that place. Also, in even more news, a guy got a crane lift and smashed it into a bunch of police cars. And it's not his first time interacting with the police. This is the radical jail or not bail the Liberals push. Just before I show you a video of Polyev talking to reporters before going into his caucus meeting, I will just say this, that Mark Carney did have meetings with President Donald Trump, and President Donald Trump did say that Canada still should become the 51st state and how it would help Canada with massive tax cuts and their health would be better and their army would be better in becoming 51st state. And I just think it's so funny that Trump said that to Carney's face. He also said we're going to keep all the tariffs and that we don't want Canadian cars because we make our own cars. Donald Trump, even if you don't like him, even if you do like him, he just says that to Carney's face. He doesn't care who he talks to. At least you can say this: Trump isn't a hypocrite. Now look at this: Poilievre meeting reporters just before his caucus meeting.
Thank you very much, everyone. Back to work at caucus today after the most recent election. Obviously, we didn't come out on top, and that's disappointing. But there is a lot to be thankful for. We've massively expanded our party, 2.3 million votes, 25 more seats, big gains in Ontario, British Columbia, some more modest gains in Quebec. A very powerful and re-energized Conservative coalition led by young people, workers, new immigrants, entrepreneurs, big breakthroughs in manufacturing communities across the country. We're very thankful for that, very excited by the fact that we've been leading the charge on and leading the debate in this country, whether on the carbon tax, inflation, housing costs, crime, drugs. It's been Conservatives who've been leading and winning the debates, but there's more to do. We have to enlarge our team, grow our support, build on our caucus strengths. I'll be thanking them for their hard work, thanking our volunteers, our activists, our team. Obviously very thankful to the people of Carleton for the 2 decades I had the privilege of serving them. And we have a path back into Parliament to allow me to hold the government to account, continue to lead on the same files so that we can pursue our mission, which is to give people back control of their lives, to have a chance to work hard, earn a great life, live in an affordable home, on a safe street, make this a country where hard work is actually rewarded again. That was the mission that I set out to when I started my leadership campaign back in 2022. It's the mission that we stay focused on today.
Mr. Poilievre,
One last thing. If I just got one last thing. Today, the President and the Prime Minister will meet, and we want to wear.
You had said that Canada should become the 51st state.
No. Well, I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, you know, as a real estate developer, you know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But you know, I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
What's your first state if Canadians don't want?
This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada, and we put tariffs on cars from Canada. And at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, you know, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada.
It's fine as Carney will tax steel anyway. Trump also mentioned how much he hated Justin Trudeau and hated Chrystia Freeland early on in that video. Yes, I just love how he says these things to Mark Carney's face. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Canada needs Pierre Poilievre. Let's bring it home. Thank you very much for watching.